Institutional digital assets depend on keys that are created, protected, used, rotated, recovered, and retired under strict control. In this module, we'll connect those controls to signing workflows that enforce policy, reduce risk, and support regulated tokenized markets. We've already built the foundation across market structure, architecture, platforms, tokenization, settlement, and custody. Now we move into the control layer: how keys are generated, protected, recovered, used for signing, and monitored so transactions are authorized safely. In digital assets, a private key is more than a credential. It is authority. If the key lifecycle is weak, transactions, custody, compliance, and trust can all fail at the same time. Treat each cryptographic key as an asset with a controlled lifespan. It is generated, activated, stored, used, backed up, rotated, recovered when needed, suspended if risk changes, and destroyed at retirement. At every stage, ownership, approval, access, logging, and exception handling must be clear. For regulated custody, this is more than technical hygiene. It becomes evidence for ISO, SOC2, NIST, and internal risk obligations. Key security begins at generation. Even a well-designed custody process cannot rescue a key created with weak randomness, reused seed phrases, or a compromised laptop. Production keys should be generated only inside trusted infrastructure, such as HSMs, MPC systems, secure enclaves, or approved custody platforms. Development and test environments must stay separate. Approvals and witnesses should be logged, but private keys, mnemonics, and raw secrets should never be recorded. Storage decisions come down to boundaries, where control lives, and what would have to fail for funds to move without permission. HSM custody keeps full keys inside hardened hardware. MPC splits signing power across parties. Multisig requires several addresses to approve. Smart contract wallets encode rules on-chain. Self-custody puts the seed with the user. No model is universally best. The right choice depends on threat profile, operational maturity, recovery needs, and transaction volume. Strong key management also depends on separating power. One person may request an action, another approves it, a signer executes it, and auditors review the evidence afterwards. Access should be role-based, least privilege, and strengthened with MFA, privileged access management, and just-in-time elevation. Sensitive events must be logged, including key creation, policy changes, approvals, failures, and recovery actions. Those logs need tamper protection and integration with SIM, GRC, and incident response processes. Backups should be treated as live key material, not convenience copies. Encrypted key backups, recovery seeds, HSM domains, MPC share backups, and recovery vaults are only acceptable when they are access controlled, geographically separated, and routinely tested. Screenshots, cloud notes, email, unmanaged vaults, and loose paper copies should be prohibited. When recovery is required, use quorum approval, strong identity verification, documented authorization, and complete audit logs before any secret is reconstructed. Key lifecycle changes should follow a controlled sequence, not an ad hoc reaction. Begin with a trigger, such as policy timing, suspected compromise, staff departure, or vendor migration. Assess the risk, obtain approval, and create the replacement key or signing policy. Then migrate assets, wallet permissions, contract roles, and whitelists. Validate transactions and settlement readiness before disabling old access. Finally, destroy keys only with evidence, retention alignment, and audit closure. Signing is the controlled conversion of intent into on-chain action. It starts with a proposed transfer: the asset, destination, amount, network, and purpose. Before any key is used, the request is checked for policy fit, sanctions exposure, address validity, balances, fees, and simulation results. Only then does signing occur through an HSM, MPC, multisig, or custody workflow. After broadcast, teams track confirmations, reconcile records, handle exceptions, and preserve reporting evidence. At the pre-signing stage, the transaction is still a proposal, not a commitment. First, validate the basics: recipient, chain, token contract, amount, nonce, gas, and metadata. Then simulate execution to confirm expected outcomes, events, failed calls, and contract side effects. Next, compare the transfer against eligibility rules, allow lists, and restrictions. Finally, score risk signals such as new destinations, high value, abnormal fees, or risky wallets, and block or escalate anything suspicious. The approval layer turns policy into enforceable action. The system evaluates factors such as value, wallet type, destination, jurisdiction, and timing. Low-risk activity may need one approver. Higher-risk activity can require maker-checker review, dual approval, or quorum consent. Exceptional transfers may add step-up authentication, compliance review, or a temporary hold. The key point is that approval evidence travels with the transaction, creating accountability before signing and a defensible audit trail afterwards. Once signed, the transaction still has to prove itself operationally. It is broadcast through trusted nodes, custody APIs, or managed gateways, then monitored as it enters the mempool, gains confirmations, and reaches finality. The platform must detect failures, replacements, abnormal fees, delays, and possible reorg exposure. After execution is confirmed, on-chain results are matched against the custody ledger, investor registry, settlement, treasury, and accounting records. Alerts turn exceptions into action before records drift apart. Resilience is not only about preventing key loss, it is about knowing exactly what happens when something fails. If a signer disappears, a key share is compromised, an HSM goes down, or a vendor outage blocks access, the organization needs predefined recovery paths. That includes quorum replacement, tightly controlled emergency access, and clear authority to resume operations. These procedures must be tested before they are needed, through tabletop exercises, restore tests, disaster drills, and incident simulations. Strong custody depends on more than where keys are stored. It requires lifecycle controls, disciplined signing workflows, and tested recovery plans working together. These foundations support auditability, compliance, settlement safety, and resilience. Next, you'll apply this architecture to vendor evaluation, wallet tooling, advanced policy controls, and interoperability.